cut daisies and unicorns, and it's a trailer Friday for Season 8, 2023. Season 8, 2023, Episode 1.
January 27th, Friday.
January 27th. All right. Yeah, so we're back. Glad to have everybody in, and looking forward to your interactions with the full episode on Sunday. But yeah, how's everything going in this 2023, Steve? How are you doing?
2023. 2023.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? 2023.
Right.
You know, people are still dying.
It's true. It's a daily occurrence.
Yep. And I'm still living.
Right.
And so that's how I'm doing.
There's people living, there's people dying.
I mean, we're just leading. That's how this episode coming up on Sunday goes. I mean, it just, if you're looking for, you know, like the really easy way to pull a Band-Aid off, it's not listening to this podcast. We just rip it right off.
Yeah, Band-Aid comes off. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good topic. It's a good topic of discussion. And as we are upfront about, we say we do not know everything.
We don't.
We're already telling you that. I mean, it's not if you've been listening to this podcast for the last 7 seasons, you already know that. Like, it's not a new revelation to you. If you're a newcomer, we're trying to be able to put that disclaimer out for you as you are a new traveler into this journey together, flying through the universe.
2 guys flying through the universe, telling stories.
All right.
We've boiled it down to that we're definitely at the part of the podcast where any of our soapboxes have been revealed.
Yeah.
I don't think we're reinventing the wheel of our soapbox.
I don't think so.
No. And so
I don't think there's any new revelations necessarily. So
nope. And so then the other thing is we've had really good feedback in multiple areas that continued to boil themselves up to the top. And so if you're wondering what you can look forward to in Season 8, what I would say is, you know, just realize we haven't given up on the golden oldies. You know, so you're gonna hear stuff about, you know, the fringe,
right?
Fringe sciences,
which we've got a whole bunch that are going to be coming up. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that you know, we're going to dabble in your mind and bring you to a place where, you know, maybe just by the way we turn how we're saying things, it gives you a pause for how you might think about a certain topic.
Right.
Then we're going to share the practical applications from our lives on how we're doing life. It is not an imposition. You don't have to do life like we do life.
Right.
That's not what we're trying to do here.
No, it's not what we're going for.
If we were going for it, then we would tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear, right. And we'd have 1 million people following us.
And then we would be a true cult.
And so,
so what's a cult that has 2 leaders? Do we have to establish like a dominant leader before you get a cult, or?
I don't know. Pretty soon you're going to tell people they should look up what a unicorn is on Google, and we don't want them to do that either.
It's true. Yeah, because there's lots of other
I would not
things.
look in the Urban Dictionary for what a unicorn is.
No.
stay away from Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it's not the intent of this podcast.
Exactly.
We call unicorns, something way different than an Urban Dictionary would. So
Yeah. So don't do that.
yeah, what I'm afraid you've heard is I need to go and look that up now. I mean, and if you do, and there's no, I mean, you go look it up if you do care to now, but yeah, but just know that that's not the intent, and that's where we started calling, or even guests that would come on as a unicorn, because we wanted to know their story, and their story was new, whether to us or, to the audience. That was what our intent was.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing is, just, be reminded that, things that are shared are solely our opinions. They are only our opinions. You can have your own opinion. We don't hate you if you have your own opinion.
Or if your opinion's different than ours.
In complete opposition of ours.
Right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So if you're looking for a place for a big hug and welcoming, accepting vibes, get your hug from Phil, and I'll have the accepting vibes. That's for you, Prenger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we were talking possibly having him on the show at one point in time.
There's people. Yeah, we've we need to get Mike on the show.
We do.
We need to get Prenger on the show. We need to get Adam on the show. We need to all of this different stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our problem is that
we need to shift our taping schedule, recording schedule, or just actually call people and see if they can make their schedule work with ours. I mean, that's the thing. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
We could probably do that too. Yeah.
But hey, the really cool thing about 2023 is we're doing this loop around the sun again. Did you hear about the green comet?
I did hear about that.
It should still be viewable all the way through about the 10th to the 29th of February. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always difficult in the city to see anything in the sky.
It was funny when
because we hadn't seen the sun for 2 weeks before,
right.
yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're saying this comet hasn't been on this loop where we could see it for 10,000 years.
Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question. Really? If this hasn't been... Is a comet really flying through the universe if no one's there to see it?
You're getting philosophical now. The tree falling in the forest. Yep.
At what stage? Yeah. Having watched that documentary on the lost civilization thing,
yeah.
The ancients,
the apocalypse one.
Yeah,
Is that
the apocalyptic. How many variations of humanity have occurred or have lived on this earth? What a great question.
Yeah. And I think that was the reason for him digging into it in the first place, was there are things that are undiscovered still.
Yeah.
And that's, how is that not okay? Well, there are things that obviously there's a lot of people, that don't know, right? And that's his, preface, I think, is hey, what if we looked under here? What would we find?
Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I was amazed with was that when he made a very compelling argument in regards to how history or historians and scientists are not embracing new thought
Right.
agendas that could postulate that a different reality occurred than what's the accepted reality, that no one was there to know about its reality.
Right.
But how can you how can you keep on going down the road and having more and more discovery and not be open to changing what you said everything was about?
Right.
Like, the more information you get, then you should be able to come back and abridge the notations of what things were because you've got more information.
Mm-hmm.
You should.
Should. Yeah. All kinds of stuff that we don't know yet that maybe we'll know sometime in the future.
I have an empty bucket.
Now, what do we want to fill it with?
Yeah. But 2023, man, there's good things coming.
Yep.
If you didn't know that, let me just fill you in. There are good things coming in 2023.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And good things on cut daisies and unicorns that are still coming.
There's some people who are listening to this and they're like, how do you know something good is coming?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if you expect something bad to come, that'll happen.
That will too.
You know, so why can't you keep your eyes open looking for what good is going to happen?
Right. And it's not just the power of positivity. It's just also saying, like, what loop do you want to be stuck in? You want to be stuck in a positive loop or a negative one?
I did use the word magnetism
Right.
in the episode, and so I would probably have to fault on the level of, you know, I mean, hey, what are you looking for?
Mm-hmm.
If you're walking through the woods in northern Michigan and in the spring after a gentle spring rain,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not looking for morel mushrooms, you won't find any. But if you're looking for the morels,
That's when they show up.
that's when they show up. If you're out in the woods, walking through the woods, and you're looking for them, you can find them.
Sweet.
Now, you're probably not finding them in the middle of July, but in the spring, you can find them.
I don't know if I've ever found a mushroom that you could actually eat in the wild before. Personally, me. I've never found one. I've also never gone hunting for them. So that would be the reason.
So that's why you've never found them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were a really big deal in let me call it South Central Iowa. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People really like to, you know, put them in flour, a little salt and pepper, fry them up in the pan.
Yeah.
Growing up in Michigan, it happened about the same time the smelt were running. And smelt are these little fish.
Yeah.
They're like French fries.
Right.
I like mine with cocktail sauce. Num, 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 num. Can you tell?
Smelt
it's
fries.
Smelt fries. Now, I did have smelt a few years back when I was visiting Traverse City.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, man, this is not as good as my memory of them.
Oh.
But I think it had to do with that I was at a restaurant, and usually we would fish for our own smelt and then make them at home. And there are a few things that I can tip my hat to and say, you know, I haven't really mastered that. So me cooking it will not be like good to the palate.
So do you eat it whole? A smelt like the fish? I mean,
Well, so to clean them, you use scissors and you cut off their head and slit up the middle, and it's kind of like shrimp, you know. Yeah, but you do that. Take the graphic hashtag turn this off. But yeah, I mean, like, you take their guts out and then toss them in a bucket, and then and then I mean, I ate them fins and all. You didn't take the fins off.
That's what I was wondering, what the traditional way of
And I don't think
preparing.
you dredge them in flour. You don't do flour, milk, flour, you know,
like that.
like onion rings or whatever. But I'm sure that there are people who are as familiar and be like, no, that's not how our recipe works. And so, yeah.
Then you do you.
Smelt away.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I've got a trip to Iowa coming up here, and
Yep.
probably gonna hit up the Jethros in Ames.
On the road again.
So so I'll be there for a couple of days, but I'll be making some trips back and forth between here and there for the next probably 3 or 4 months.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that'll be a fun journey down the well, I guess I didn't spend a whole lot of time in Ames, but I've been to Ames multiple times. So,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. It'll be good.
So are you a live college football guy?
I'm not one of those. I mean, I'll like if it's available and I really have nothing else to do, I don't mind watching. I'm not like I need to make time in the schedule for this.
I mean, Iowa State fans are crazy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like you're either like an Iowa State alum and you're there for football, or your kid's marching in the band and you're there for the marching band,
Yeah.
or you're a freshman in college and you're like, tailgate, sure.
They've got a pretty fanatic basketball following too.
Huh.
So, yeah, the Hilton is I think the arena, right? I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. See, but we'd have to tap on the shoulders of some of our Iowa State,
Right, we
you know.
would. And we have plenty of those.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Probably that are yelling at, right now through the microphones.
You guys
That's
are crazy.
What is wrong with you? You don't know all these? Like, no, I don't. Other than I do know Brock Purdy, because my brother's a Niners fan. And he, the Niners started with the guy that they traded up to for their quarterback, and they were finally, excited to have him kind of step up this season. Well, they still went back to Garoppolo, who's been, with them, and then he got hurt, and then they went to their third string. It was Brock Purdy, who was what they call Mr. Irrelevant, because he was drafted in the last round of the draft.
Really?
Yeah, third string, and now they're going to the divisional, playoffs right now. So this is the final one to decide who goes to the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
So who's in those games?
So this is the 49ers and the Eagles in the NFC, and then you get the Bengals and the Chiefs in the AFC.
Oh, so the Chiefs are coming back.
Yeah, they've been
Mahomes.
pretty consistent there
Right.
in the playoffs for the last since Mahomes has been there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
What did you think about that? Huh, podcasters? I pulled the quarterback of the four teams. I know one quarterback. That's 25% of the knowledge, which I'm only saying again that there's 75% of what I don't know.
Yeah, Mahomes. You've heard of Brock Purdy. I mean, he was at ISU. Maybe no.
No.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like that. Now, like as you're saying these names,
Yeah.
you bring up the Eagles.
Right.
Makes me think of the movie that was made about the walk-on.
Invincible. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So like that happens.
Right.
It also takes me back to Remember the Titans. Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Good movie. Yeah.
Great,
Good. Yeah.
good. I mean, if you're gonna have,
I think it's great. It's great.
if you're gonna have Disney-inspired
Right.
football movies, I mean, yeah, it's na 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 na. Hey, goodbye. For those who know the movie, that'll make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get Brock Purdy. You have Jalen Hurts as the QB for the Eagles, Mahomes for the Chiefs, and then Joe Burrow is the Bengals quarterback. So
The Bengals. Are they
Bengals.
Cincinnati?
Cincinnati,
Ohio.
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 Mm-hmm.
For the record,
Yeah.
just stating the obvious, the Lions aren't anywhere near that.
No, the Lions had a pretty good season, actually. They came back, and I think the best part of the Lions season was when they eliminated the Packers. So. In the last game of the season, they eliminated the Packers.
Hashtag sorry, Adam. Oh, man.
Yeah. So that was the most exciting. But they actually picked it up. They were, I think, started like 0-6, and then they almost won out. So
I might watch football this weekend. I've seen a total of 3 games this year.
yeah.
And I can say 3 because I think once I watched maybe 10 minutes of a game, and then one week I actually watched back to back. I just sat on, and
Wow.
Amy was like,
You're watching football.
"You're watching football?"
What's
And I'm
wrong
like,
with you? Are you feeling sick?
every once in a while I'll watch a NASCAR. My favorite thing about golf is so ingrained in me, as my dad would always have golf on Sunday after church, after
My
we
dad
ate,
too. Yeah.
But he was always sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
But if you went to change the channel, he'd wake up and be like, "No, hey, I'm watching that." And I'm like, "Are you? Are you really?"
Yep.
And then he'd tell me what the score was, and and stuff like that. But if I just want to a good Sunday afternoon nap, man, throw on some sports like that, and it just, I don't know, it's like that white noise that you can fade off into. And
Right.
now, mind you, I have a hard enough time sleeping through the night as it is. Naps aren't really in my future, and naps and caffeine both off the list.
You're eliminating caffeine.
No.
Oh,
I mean,
I was
in the
like-
afternoon.
Oh,
I
got it.
I still have my 1 to 2 cups, and
Right.
yeah.
I was just thinking, I'm like, man.
But other than that, caffeine's eliminated in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually eliminate it past 2 or 3.
Oh man.
Sometimes I drink a tea. Yeah.
And actually, I've been thinking about moving into that. Where
Like the British, they love tea time, tea and crumpets.
can we sit down and have tea?
Yeah, I used to go and visit a shut-in, and she was British, and every time I'd come over, it was always tea time, and she would have tea and cookies, but but biscuits.
Yeah.
And 1 or 2 sugar cubes, no sugar. What you have to put sugar and milk in there? I'm like, that's weird, but sure, you fix it the way you would, and we'll see what we do. No, that would be always the way.
Oh man.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
crumpets.
So, but I
biscuits.
mean, football might be in my future.
yeah,
I mean, people care about it.
yeah.
I-
Some people do.
I couldn't care less.
Yeah, I've moved into, and this is probably in the last 10 years, sports used to have more of a dominance, professional sports watching
Yeah.
had more of a dominance in life, and now I'm just yeah, okay. Baseball is probably I love baseball, love watching the Dodgers, and would be devastated when they're now they've lost again in the playoffs. Once again this year, they've lost again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it'd be much more devastating. Now I'm just now I get to move on.
Yeah.
So, moving on. So that's what it's become for me. I'll watch it, but it's not going to dominate my life.
Yeah.
So-
There's not enough motion in baseball to really hold my attention.
That's what my wife says too.
I wonder though if like when you have baseball going, you're listening to the game, but you're probably doing other things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always doing something else.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hard part about any of that is like I'm usually always doing something in addition to.
Well, and just to bring out one more highlight,
Yeah.
and then we'll wind up the Trailer Friday. But we'll probably lead with this. Is your January wet or dry?
It's certainly wet. It is, I would say jumping into the pool.
All right. So if you want to know, is it low tide or is it high tide? Apparently, according to Phil, he's jumping in the pool for a wet January.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's much lovelier in that end of the pool.
Oh, so to all of you, I say choose your form of the function. Tiki umbrella or not.
I don't go with tikis, but I don't judge.
But do you hula?
I try not to do that either.
That's good. You know what you get if you put two hula hoops together?
An infinity symbol.
Yes! Yes! He got it!
Season 8, everybody.
Have a great Friday or whatever day you're listening to this.
Right.
And we will catch you on the dark side of the moon.